Hello everyone and welcome to episode 25 of Guild Gab. This is our 25th anniversary, 1 year anniversary, something like that, I don't know. Anyway, welcome to Guild Gab. This is a show all about everything Guild Wars 2, focusing on PvE and lore, but since all of this new Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns hype, we kind of go into a little bit of everything, and we've got a lot of different topics to talk about today. First of all, let me introduce everybody. I'm your host, AuroraPeachy. To my left is Akasaurus Rex. Below me is Corvus, and in the other corner is Alex of the RPG Shack.
What's going on?
Alright, yeah! We're here, and I know that you guys are excited for Rezzed in a couple days.
Very much so.
God, yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
What kind of things you guys got planned for Rezzed?
We're gonna get our hands on the demo. We're gonna steal a computer with the demo on it. We're gonna kidnap Izzy Cartwright. What's better swag than an actual developer?
Right? I never even thought of that.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
Don't mind the noise in the closet.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna fit that in your luggage getting back, but of course you don't have to fly, do you?
Human-shaped bag you have there. No, never mind.
But from the reports that have come in from PAX East, it sounds like everybody's had a really great time and been able to kind of test out the demo. It sounds that it's. I think they announced this anyway. It was pretty identical to what you played up at in Seattle a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
We actually asked, is this the exact demo that's going to be at PAX and Rezzed, and they said yes. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, you've got I think you've got a 40-minute kind of demo timer going on, so I think that's ample time for everybody to get round, and it's over 2 days for the public as well, and the press day is on the Thursday beforehand. So I think there's going to be plenty of time over there, and Heart of Thorns really is like the only mainstream attraction that's there.
Is it really?
Pretty much.
I think so.
Oh wow.
Most of the things set up there are like indie games. That kind of thing. Like, it's fairly small developers showing off things like that. I mean, Square Enix is there for Life is Strange, but again, it's not like their main title or anything like that. I think the only thing that's comparable to ArenaNet is, I think Valve's there showing off their VR headset, which is going to be awesome. But apart from that, it's pretty much entirely indie games. I mean, I think Xbox is there to show off like some of the exclusives they're having, but it's not like the same.
It sounds a lot like PAX South. There was a lot of indie developers. There was a lot of smaller companies there. There was like Nintendo was there, but the only thing they had was Majora's Mask 3DS. Like that was their whole booth, and there was Gigantic, but you know, and then they of course were showing off their game. But other than that, it was like the main attraction was kind of was Heart of Thorns, which was really cool. And so if it can get that kind of that attention at Rezzed, you know, and not kind of be drowned out by everything else. Like at PAX East, you know, PAX East is huge, and you know the Guild Wars booth was just one of hundreds of other booths of major developers, major games, but their booth looked amazing. Did you guys see the pictures?
It looked so good. I hope they have the same kind of setup. Like, if they just ship that whole setup over to London, that'd be amazing.
I hope so. I mean,
I wonder.
Yeah, it's just looking really, really cool. But yeah, like you said, there's a whole bunch of indie developers there because E3 European. Was it European? No, it was Eurogamer. It was Eurogamer that, because Earl's Court was demolished last year, there's nowhere for Eurogamer to be held, so they're doing EGX Rezzed, which is like a small version of Eurogamer, in London, and then like the full-on kind of new showcase and thing actually happens up in Birmingham this year. So yeah,
it's good. I think Guild Wars is definitely gonna like steal the show, and especially for us, it's gonna be incredible. For us to just be there. I wonder how many times we're gonna play through the demo, like as much as possible, probably.
The lines probably won't be that long. I don't know how many stations they'll have, but
yeah, well, that's it. I don't know. I don't know how much attention it's gonna get because I bought a Friday ticket just like yesterday, just because I was going for that extra day, and like I think only one of the days had sold out, or maybe two of them had.
Oh, wow.
I think Saturday and Thursday, which was the press day anyway, I think had, but the Friday was still all. So it's not like it's sold out and it's all booked and stuff like that. So
well, hopefully
yeah,
that means that you guys will get more time with the game and more time with the developers and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on the Revenant and just kind of having a run around and quizzing the developers while we're there, going, so this thing. It's like, and of course we've heard rumors of many off the record chats as well with developers where things have been revealed.
Yes.
Lots and lots of off the record stuff. Yeah.
which is weird because I've only heard conversations about the off the record stuff. I've not actually heard anything that's off the record, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I've heard recently was just about specializations and about the classes that are only getting offhand weapons are going to get. It's going to be worth it. It's going to feel the same amount of change or something like that as a class that's gotten a new two-handed weapon or something like that. So I'm quite interested in how they do that.
I was kind of wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Because it was basically like they were saying that, like Mesmer's getting shield, pretty much definitely confirmed, right? Like, and so that's only going to be 2 skills, but Ranger with a staff is going to be 5 whole new skills for them. So people were kind of like, it's a shame, like it's not going to feel special to me.
Right.
But they said it was going to make up for it, and I don't know whether that means that like there's going to be, the skills that they get are going to be super powerful and really worthwhile, or they could throw in something like an extra utility skill somewhere or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but they said it was going to be equal grounds like that.
It can't just be that like if you get, say, the Mesmer gets a shield, that it would be like OP, because then you'd have to use a shield. Like that would be the meta.
Exactly.
So and that wouldn't make sense for them to do that.
Yeah, well, so I'm interested. I mean, they're changing trait lines, right? So they could maybe accommodate for that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, is that because like they're like getting like the like specialization is getting like a whole new term with like a whole new set of traits and a whole new set of utility skills as well. So they could always, I guess, buff up those things if the offhand weapon is the only new thing about it on the active part, then maybe they'll just make up for it in. Yeah. Like the traits and the utility skills.
Yeah, because I mean, if the Mesmer's going to turn into like a super control class, then I mean, well, more than that is kind of like, they could add traits that boost durations or something like that while wielding a shield, that kind of thing, to make it feel important and to give it that boost over the other classes. So yeah, we'll see. But that's just one of the things that's come out recently, just by people badgering developers, which I'm sure me and Alex are going to do a lot of.
Oh god, yeah.
They also announced, we actually got a little bit of at least a time frame of when Heart of Thorns is not going to come out, because they said that they're going to release information on each one of the specializations they're going to do a different one every week.
Yeah.
So that's 9 weeks at least that we have to wait for Heart of Thorns.
Plus beta time.
Plus beta time and all that, yeah. So I know, I don't know why, but there was a lot of people who were like, "Oh, it's gonna come out in like a month or 2." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? No,
come on.
No." So this didn't surprise me at all. I kind of figured actually that they were gonna do that. Yeah, they're fast, but
yeah, I think it'll 100% come out in August. I mean, it just makes the most sense, right? Like. It's around the 3rd birthday, and don't forget the earnings report that we got, quite a while ago now, which said that spike in Q3.
Yeah.
I think it will just be August.
Probably.
Well, yeah.
Do you think that's too late though? Late summer, early fall?
I think an ideal time to release it would be early summer, because that way you catch kids who are coming out of school and just like, hey, we don't want to be outside and
get sunshine and fresh air
and talk to people during our holiday. No, we want to stay inside and kill dragons. So I mean, I think to some extent early summer would make a bit more sense, but I think on top of that they've got to bear in mind that you get the summer glut of like top tier AAA single player games. I'm talking like the big console odds and sods. On top of that, you've got just generic summer stuff. You've got summer blockbuster movies. You've got music festivals. You've got it's very easy for a game to get lost in there. Especially, I've not really seen the release schedule for the rest of 2015, but I think they'd want to pick their moment properly, where everyone's kind of gone, oh well, Call of Duty or whatever's come out, and then Guild Wars 2.
I mean, I always remember, at least when I was at school, that the summer was kind of the worst time for games because it was just such a huge dry spell. You know, everyone's aiming for like Christmas kind of time or leading up to that. So I think around the summer would be a good point, just because I doubt there's going to be anything comparable coming out. You know, like every single WoW expansion pretty much comes out in the autumn or the winter, like.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's kind of become a cycle for things to come out before Christmas or in the autumn, or the early year. I think summers would be a good place for them to target. I definitely think it'll happen in August for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also if they do actually release like the expansion either like late summer or even early summer, that's still a really short time to release, I think, an expansion, because like they basically announced it in like January, and then it's changing so many big things. To have it by August to me is like, wow, that's so
they've been working on it for a long time. They didn't just start working on it in January.
Yeah.
So, it's
wow.
With the beta weekends, they have said Colin did say that at least he said, we're not sure of, we don't know what the release date's going to be, so we can't tell you because we have to do beta testing first. And I think the beta test, unless something goes like tragically wrong in the beta tests, I think that they have a pretty good idea of when it's going to come out. Yeah. But it's going to depend on those beta tests, which first closed beta's coming out.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I've applied. It's funny, they said they were looking for people who, play the game a lot, like regulars to the game, and it said loyal customers as well, so I'm guessing that obviously means people who have sunk a lot into the gem store or something.
They want those people to keep playing.
Yeah. I'm hoping I've spent enough since I've since launched to actually qualify for that.
Well, when you go to Res, you can nudge them, be like, so there's
exactly. Come on, guys,
coming up,
give us a beta code, man. Come on. It's like just one of these USB sticks with information on it. No one's gonna know. But no, I'm super looking forward to the closed beta, and now we're at that point. I think hopefully. I mean, they're still on the rough kind of schedule as to what they were 3 years ago. So closed beta was about now. The first beta weekend, like open beta weekend, was about April, and then they released by August. But I really want to get into the beta, because I just know when we go and play the demo on Saturday, we're just gonna be like, oh my god, this is amazing, and then I just know that all of my guildies are gonna get it. And I'm going to be sitting here, it's like, no.
Did I know?
Yeah. Do you know,
there's
really...
a lot of my... Oh, sorry. I was just saying, there's a lot of my guildmates who have sunk, two times as many hours as I have into the game. And I've played a lot. And I can just imagine that, everyone in my guild gets in and I don't, which would be such a pain. I'm just hoping that, I don't know, maybe they know that we do guild gab, and it'd be cool for us to speculate and stuff. There's no NDA on it, so we could have really good episodes talking about the beta.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed they help us out like that. That'd be really good.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to mention. That there's absolutely there's no NDA on it at all compared to the original vanilla. Excuse me, closed betas, which was subject to NDA. But yeah, so as soon as it opens up, we can just be like, bam, let's start cracking these videos out. It's gonna be great. There's going to be... I mean, everyone's inbox who's subscribed to, all four of us. Excuse me. It's going to be flooded with content. It's just I've got, a dozen of the same video to watch in a row.
But how do you think the closed and open betas are going to work? Do you think they're going to be on the live client? Do you think it's going to be on something separate?
Yeah, see, that's one of the things I'm wondering, right? Because... I had that whole Black Lion chest fiasco where I lost 400 gold or something. I got so many teleport to friend items, which just port you right next to them. And because I've got map completion, I don't know whether that works for areas you've not discovered yet, but it might take you to the zone if you've not discovered it. And if it's on the open server, then it's likely people are going to be able to just jump into their friends' kind of maps and stuff. I think it'll be on the stage servers as well, but I don't know, because they're going to want to test stuff out I think in like
On live.
in series with stuff. Yeah, like it's gonna be they're gonna work how it is connected to the kind of vanilla zones and stuff. So it's gonna be quite interesting. I don't mind either way. Like it'd be cool to go on stage, but yeah. It's definitely an interesting point, especially if they're going to be sucking in a lot of people for these beta tests.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting to note, because I think we were talking about this in our little chat group before we started, was that they did something a little bit different in Guild Wars 1, where they just did it on the live client, but the difference was there that you had a separate starting location for Nightfall, and I can't remember. I don't know what it was like for factions, but you could kind of. You could kind of log into your main screen. You could create a new character in Guild Wars 1, and then it'd give you the option of which campaign you wanted to start in. And you could click Nightfall. I think they just kind of blanket gave everybody access to the demo, because I certainly didn't pre-order it at the time.
I think they did, because my very first exposure to Guild Wars at all was the Factions beta client, and I played on a friend's account, so I'm pretty sure it was a live account. And then you had to create a new character, and like you said, you get the choice of which campaign do you want to start in. So they probably brought up that choice and said, and one of the choices was the Factions beta. So that might be, and then once the beta was over, you still had that character, but they were kind of locked because there was no factions to go into. It was locked. And I think my alternate Guild Wars 1 account still has a Factions beta character on that account, but that account doesn't have factions, so I can't do anything with her. She's just sitting there.
Actually, that is a very interesting thing, because if memory serves, you could take your beta character in Nightfall, and you could, if you pre-ordered the game, you could just continue with your beta character. I think
so.
Yeah, because a big part of Nightfall was that they just wanted to blast you up to level 20 on Istan, and then kick you out into Corner and into Vabi, and just be like, right, go and fight and possibly hard bad guys. But I can't see that happening with the Heart of Thorns client, especially because I think we all seem to be going down the route that they're going to be using a separate client like they did for the Edge of the Mists demo.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be very hard to kind of transfer that information. And there are a lot of people I've talked to who are saying that I don't want to play the closed beta test because I just know I'll get a precursor drop. And no, but the thing is, ArenaNet have been very clear about this in the past, that any precursor drop that you get in a beta or test client will not be transferred over to your live account, which is unbelievably frustrating, but I think it's kind of fair. So
that's such a shame. I would feel so bad for that. It's like seeing a shiny Pokemon before you get Pokeballs or something. It's just like ever.
Shiny Pidgey.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be interesting, and I wish everyone the best of luck in getting into the beta, because that'd be so cool for us all to play.
And by the way, for those who don't know, the way to apply to get into the beta, all you have to do is be signed up for the Guild Wars 2 official newsletter. There was a separate beta page, but it was just it's just like sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah, that's it's like a redirect for that.
Right. I'm just gonna pop the link in chat for everybody. There we go.
I don't know if I actually want to actually play the beta, to be honest, because my beta experiences have only been through WoW, and every time I've done like the beta for the last 2 expansions, it does kind of take away a little bit for me, and I kind of do have this like instinct to kind of just want to. I'm kind of like content to let them actually finish the whole thing totally polished out, and then I can just jump right into it, and it can be totally done, and I can run around.
I think I think you've got to, for me, and I agree, because I think I did this a little bit with Guild Wars 2 in the original betas, that you've got to go in with the attitude that you're not there to play to progress yourself in the game. You're there you're there to bug test. You're there to try and see what's going on, and it's something that I did in the original beta test. I was like, yeah, I'm going to play a Human Ranger, and I'd done it like 4 or 5 times before the game launched, and then I had to play a Human Ranger. But yeah, like I think a lot of what's going to be going on is going to be bug stomping. It's going to be people creating video content, and there's going to be a lot of good stuff that comes out of the beta. I think a great example of where a beta failed would be Diablo 3, which actually happened around the same time, where people just logged in, the entire thing pissed itself and crashed, and nothing got sorted. But what was great about the original beta weekends was that ArenaNet listened to what people were saying, and I think it's going to be good that they're going to be listening to people, even if people, not complain, but kind of point out things like, this is overpowered, this is underpowered, you need to tweak this kind of things. Working through the original beta weekends, ArenaNet were always really, really good at that. So I think it's going to be a really interesting period of the game.
And I think for people who are worried about, like, people say, I don't know if I want to play the beta because I don't want to, like, ruin the story. I would rather wait until it's done. Things might be different in the beta, and I don't want that to skew how I view the story or view the content. It's pretty much exactly as Alex said. It's going to be a lot of bug testing, especially with gliding. With gliding, I think there's going to be a lot of bugs, and there's going to be a lot of things I think that the players are going to find that they haven't found internally. Like I said, when I was at ArenaNet and I played the demo, I found a bug with the Wyvern that they had never seen before, and it was like my second time playing. I'd been playing the thing for an hour, and they're like, "We've never seen that before." I think especially with gliding, they're going to find a lot of bugs and stuff to fix. So, and who knows if we'll even get to actually play any of the story, or if they're just going to throw us out into the open world, because the map is so compact with events and adventures and gliding and just things in the environment I always screw up on this word. The timing of things, like you could run by something and it'll explode. Scripting, exactly. So there's so much of that. They might just let us run around in the open world and hope that we break stuff.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, everyone's going to be jumping out of maps and.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's going to try their damnedest to break out of maps with gliding.
Yeah.
I'm just dying to find out about the specializations.
Yeah.
So excited.
I think it'll be quite hard for me to get into the right mindset for that kind of thing. Not in like any kind of bad way, but I'm gonna be so hyped if I get into the beta. It's gonna be, I'm gonna be so excited for it that like I'm probably gonna treat it like, oh man, I'm playing Heart of Thorns already.
Yeah.
So I need to rid myself of all the fanboy stuff and just go straight in and be really, really critical.
No.
Don't be bad.
We who earned press passes, we are objective journalists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, plus being content creators, that is another thing. We if you want to keep up on that, you kind of can't, we can't say, oh, I'm going to wait until the live client to play it,
Yeah, well, exactly.
So there's that part of it too.
I wouldn't pass on it. If I got the chance, I would not pass on it.
No.
Yeah, pass on it. I would make all of the content I possibly can.
So here's the thing. I know we're a way off this yet, but when we move from closed to open beta, what do you guys think about that? How do you think access should be dealt with for an open beta? Like, should it be open to people who bought the game, or only to those who pre-ordered,
who are gonna buy the expansion?
Those are gonna be like the two options, right? Like, give everyone a shot at it, or make it an incentive for people to pre-order the game. I don't know how likely it is that everyone will get in. That's I don't know. It's a lot of players, right? Millions of people in the beta. But then again, it's the best advertisement they could possibly have as well.
Oh yeah.
So
how did they do the original launch of Guild Wars 2?
I think you had to pre-order it, didn't you?
Right? Yeah, I think it was pre-order. So I think that's probably what's most likely based on that too.
I think it can work if they just especially if they're getting close to the point where they're only a couple months or so away from actually launching the final thing, to just kind of at that point have just like a open beta to kind of anyone, because that's how Warlords did it and turned out fine. I mean, not everybody always was on the PTR as well leading up to it. I mean, a lot of people were, but it often was just kind of because it was getting so close to time of the actual launch, it's kind of well, you don't really need to jump in there because it's almost going to be finished. So at that point, so many people have already been into it so much. So I think they could do it.
Oh, definitely.
I think it's likely we'll get another weekend. You know what they did? I think the Lost Shores event was the same, and they had one last year. I think where they had a weekend and it was just free to play for that weekend.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
For everyone, and I think that's they'll definitely do that again. I think leading up to the expansion at some point. Whether they could turn that into like people who already have the game have a weekend playing Heart of Thorns or something, or people who have pre-ordered it get that, and then for the rest of the public they get a free shot at Guild Wars 2 for the weekend or something. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I mean, it was the free weekend and the sale that we just saw were on my list of things that I think were definitely going to happen before the launch, and we've already had the sale. I do think we'll get another sale, but I don't know whether it'll be as dramatic. But then I guess if it's in June or July again, then maybe. I don't know. There's been so many players come to the game.
There's been a ton of new players. Last weekend was so successful. I'm so happy.
Yeah, so it worked really well for the Peachy party as well. Just everyone buying EU accounts.
Yeah, it's like Peachy's an EU account, and the one time that you stream on EU was like
was
at like 2 in the morning when any sane person was in bed.
Yeah. It was that weekend, and I was promoting the sale, so.
Yeah, you were streaming like up until like an hour before the sale ended or something. It was
a couple hours.
Super successful.
Yeah, I think 2 hours before it ended. Yeah,
and it lasted till like 5 a.m.
But then it lasted. It was supposed to end at 3 a.m. Pacific, and it lasted
longer, right?
Was like
it was a few
it had
hours.
At least 12 more hours. I woke up. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, and it was still going. And it was sometime around noon, maybe Eastern time. It stopped, so you had even extra time to get it for $10. Do you think that they're going to do a bundle of Guild Wars 2 and Heart of Thorns together?
Yeah,
I don't think right away. Probably not. That's what I would think. But
they definitely will eventually. Like 100%. They
eventually.
Will eventually.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. But I guess it'd be weird if for them to ask for £80 basically for the game and the expansion. I think that's. I don't know how many people would buy that. But then again, given the fact that we've had 2 Living World seasons, and like that's all been free, maybe they'll bundle it, and then that'll maybe after playing the personal story and then going to the expansion, maybe then it'll kind of inspire people to buy season 2 or something on the Gem Store, and that'd be how they get that extra money or something. I don't know. I think it'd be a really good idea for them to do.
Yeah.
They could just eventually especially once Heart of Thorns release and within maybe a few months or something, especially if Heart of Thorns does well, they could eventually just keep the actual basic price of Guild Wars 2 quite low, if not the actual sale price that just went by, then pretty close. Because if you, for instance, if you go into World of Warcraft now, there's all those expansions before it, but you can literally, I upgraded a free account for $5 Canadian to get to Mist of Pandaria, and so then you just have to buy the $60 thing. So
the base game will definitely decrease in price. That's just natural.
Maybe they could do a thing where it's £40 or $40 or however much it is in the US and stuff for Guild Wars 2, then the same price for Heart of Thorns. But then if you buy Heart of Thorns and Guild Wars 2 together, maybe it knocks the base game to $10 like they've been doing
discount,
the last couple of times. And that way you're getting really good value, and it won't piss off the people who already paid for it,
That's
in
a good
these
idea,
sales
actually.
or something. Because really obviously, if it would cost them more for that, that'd be a pain in the ass. So yeah, I think that might be quite likely. So if you want, if it would make no sense to buy the base game without the expansion, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's probably the best way, because it means people are going to be playing longer. There's more things for them to do.
Yeah.
And
plus
it'll
also
be a better product.
Colin was saying too, if people haven't heard this as well, is that he came out saying that once Heart of Thorns releases, if you just have the normal Guild Wars 2 or vanilla Guild Wars 2, you won't get any more
living story
content,
updates and stuff.
Updates anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting, but it makes sense because the expansion
the story, right?
is part of the story, so you can't see. That's going to be a tiny bit confusing, I think, going forward, because when season 3 of the living story comes out, it's not a direct continuation from season 2. There's season 2, the expansion, and then further living worlds.
Because you'll get those people that you'll get folk that make videos like season 1 story summary, season 2 story summary, and then there's gonna be this weird like year to 2 year jump or something like that between season 2 and season 3, which is like a time skip basically. Oh yeah, an Elder Dragon died in the meantime. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I did see. I think it was one of the interviews I saw. I think with Colin, where they said they weren't really focusing on that now. They weren't, looking into how they were really going to deliver the story after the expansion and stuff. It was, I think it was confirmed, that people who don't buy the expansion won't be able to play it, but they're not sure how they're going to deliver it. Is it like, even if you don't have the expansion, log in those 2 weeks, are you going to get that episode? Like, will it say episode unlocked? But, and
I think
probably not. If it's for season 3,
you'll need to have the expansion to get it for free.
I think that if you log in and you still get the living story stuff, I think that's a fair way to do it, because then you've got an incentive to buy the expansion because you've got this free content which you're eligible for after the fact. And if then they're going to end up doing sales like they did for the vanilla game anyway. So when a whole bunch of people grab, I mean, I'm talking 18 months in the future here, when people grab Heart of Thorns when it's on 50% off or whatever, they grab it and they say, oh hey, I've been playing the vanilla game for the last 9 months without having the expansion. I can now play the expansion and I can come out of the other side just for logging in.
Yeah.
Obviously the dog disagrees with me, but whatever.
It's ArenaNet, how dare you make me buy the expansion to get content?
Oh my goodness. Do you want to kill too?
It's almost like they're a business and they need to make money to keep going.
Yeah, it's strange.
Wow, really? Speaking of all of those sales over the weekend, the wings, the Crystal Nomad outfit, the Golden Pig.
They will have made so much money, dude. Seriously. And for people people buying alt accounts, people buying those new players coming in, and obviously new players are like, oh, what's this?
What's this?
Black Lion keys. I'll buy 2,000 of those. They're gonna be so wealthy after this past week. It's crazy. Which is an amazing thing. It's so good because, they deserve the money first of all, and everything they get is gonna go back into making the game great, and it's gonna give us extras. It's super cool.
Did you guys get any of those items?
I got the wings. That was it.
The wings. Me too. I got the wings.
I got the Nomad's outfit because
cool.
I do not care for wings. I do not care for wings.
You do not care for wings at all.
One does not care for wings, good lady.
See, I'm not the biggest fan of the wings either, but like I just caught up in the hype of like, oh my god, they're only available for 24 hours. Shit, fuck, I'm gonna buy everything.
They're on sale for 24
I'm not gonna
hours.
use them on any of my characters, I don't think. At least maybe in like a couple years when like no one else has them or uses them or something.
You know what? I don't know about you guys, but I don't see that many of them. Like I see people with them, but it wasn't like the first day where Lion's Arch looked like a flock of crows had landed.
Well, I was playing PvP yesterday, and my entire team and like 2 members of the enemy team had wings on. So I was like, oh,
I just want white wings. I want white.
Yeah, white wings would be good.
Dyeable wings. Yeah.
Dyeable back pieces at all would be amazing. And weapons, please.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't actually like buy any gems at all.
Yeah,
for,
you were having problems with
weeks.
You're having problems with them accepting payment or something, huh?
Yeah,
that actually happened
to me
last night
tried
as well.
PayPal and my actual debit card, and every single time it was like no. It's like, okay, you don't want my money, and it was like something wrong with like the ArenaNet server stuff, because
the same thing happened to me yesterday.
Easy
it just said like there was an error, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, they might just be overloaded because of all the new people.
I think that's probably
Their systems aren't just used to the volume.
Yeah.
Which is good because that means they're making money.
Yeah. I think they're a cool little novelty item to have in your wardrobe. I think we're going to see a lot of them come back when Halloween rolls
100%.
around.
Oh, the Blackwings will definitely come back. They go with the Raymond of the Lich costume. Those, that's what they're for. So I just hope they turn them white. So so I'm confident it'll come back at Halloween. The other ones, they said that they said everything will come back. I'm guessing like the Lucky Pig will come back if they have another Lunar New Year. I'm guessing that's going to be a yearly thing now. So that the Lucky Pig will probably come back. The Crystal Nomad outfit, I don't know where that even came from. So.
Yeah, the weird thing is it's got a completely different skin on Azura, which is so strange. Like you got like the standard human Char Sylvari one and the Nord, but the Azuran one's completely different and looks really cool.
The Crystal outfit?
Yeah, it just
weird.
it just looks different for some reason on Azura.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. I only looked at it on my human female, and I didn't care for it, so I didn't even look at any other race.
I would really like if like kind of outfits and armors kind of had like a racial flair to it. I think that would be really cool. Like if they looked ever so slightly. I mean, obviously that's the case. That I hope it was the case with the Char anyway, just because of the tail and the clipping issues and the horns and stuff. Like I think the helm on the Crystal Thing outfit like just covered up the ears and horns entirely, and it just. Did they get chopped off or something? You know, like, it's weird. And yeah, Killchain mentioned in chat as well that like, when the wings came out, the gold conversion thing like just went, like it just blew up.
Yeah.
It like doubled in price. Like how much gold you need for a gem? It was crazy. Huge price increase there.
My like favorite armor skin is still the tier 3 cultural armor for Char, just because it fits them. So
it's pretty
perfectly,
badass.
And because like the thing that I love about that kind of armor is that when you look at their tails, like the actual armor is built so that it's like their like tail just isn't something sticking out of their butts or it's like clipping against clothing. Like it's actually got like it's actually tailored for something with a tail.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful armor, like heavy armor piece. It's just like, yep, I'm good with this. I like bought it and I don't need another armor piece again.
I do feel sorry for people who play Char that, you know, can't. It's really difficult for them to find armor sets that work, you know, like because of those kind of issues. And it does bug a lot of people.
I only play Char, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably look at it more, but I think they did address it a while back, and they said that basically Chars are basically the minorities, right? And it would be a decent chunk of work and resources to make them fit the Char when less people are going to actually experience it, kind of thing.
Which is why I stick to their culture armor, because it's like, there
actually are some outfits that handle the Char tails extremely well.
Which one it was? There was one with like a dragon thing running along the tail.
The ancestral armor.
Yeah, I think
from
it was
the Bazaar of the Four
outfit.
Winds. The male version has like a dragon like wrapped around the tail. And there was another one. I think it's the male Imperial outfit has like there's like a dragon or something at the back that like the tail is coming out of like its mouth.
Yeah.
Only on the male though. The female it just clips all over the place.
Oh, it's such a shame.
The light armor for the carapace armor from the Silver Waste also has a special thing for the tail.
Yeah, because the male light armor. I think it's different for the females, but it has like a kind of tail thing on it, so that follows the tail of the Char, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
By the way, Corvus
I'm really. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to quickly just like say that when you two guys do eventually get like betas and stuff, can you please get video of Char on gliders? Because I haven't seen that yet, and that's got to be the most adorable thing in the universe, especially on like the females because their tails are fluffy. Because they're just being like you know like little kitties on gliders. I want to see that.
I didn't even think of that. So the demo you can only play human. Oh, that's gonna be or little Asuras flying around the gliders bigger than they are.
Boggling everywhere.
I didn't even think of that.
Racial gliders. How awesome would that be? Just like the Sylvari have big leafy wings, and the Azura have magic wings, and then the Char have these awesome kind of Terminator-esque kind of.
Yes.
Oh god.
How awesome would that be? Like that's you know that's the serrated wing back piece. It's what it's been leading up to. It's what I've been leading up to. Those wing back pieces.
He's so bad
the
at
gliders in the gem store.
I hope like glider skins. That would be the coolest
glider
thing ever.
skins.
Yeah. Let's talk quickly about something else that happened over the weekend. Oh, my phone's going off. At PAX East was the World Tournament Series.
Holy sugar!
That was incredible.
It was so amazing.
Insane.
Madramov actually reminded me that earlier because he said, "Shouldn't Corvus and Alex be on top because Europe won?"
Yeah, victory! But I mean,
I was so hyped for that. I was like in my chair, like screaming. It was, I think it's the same thing people feel when they're watching real sports. I've never really been that excited about it, but it was amazing. And the turnaround in those matches was just insane. Like Orange Logo going, I think
oh my gosh,
Absurd had like nearly 450 points. I think they were like 440 points, and they got from 300 and something to winning like in like a minute or something.
What was interesting was that they didn't win with a timeout. They won at the point cap, so they got to like 510 points. Which, but what I thought was really interesting was that obviously the two teams that didn't make the final, the Dankening and I just love it. It's just like it's a bunch of teenagers who just like shout 420 everywhere. And to be fair, like I really like their attitude. They kind of went in. They're just like, yeah, let's just see what happens. Let's have a bit of a mess around.
Jebber called cheeky, which just summed it up perfectly. They were so cheeky like the whole time. Even their little the kind of trailer thing was just so tongue-in-cheek. It was amazing. They had a good attitude. They weren't taking it seriously or anything, super seriously. It was just they were there to have fun, and I think that's super important.
Yeah. I did feel slightly bad for Heaven and Earth because from what I've understood since the tournament happened is that they're not actually the top ranked team in China. No disrespect to them, they still put up a really good fight. Yeah, they're not top. They're not top of the league, but fair enough that they made it over, and they certainly gave a good shout. And they did win. They did win against a game. They did win against the Dankening once, I think, in the in the losers pool.
Yeah, they did win one match. Yeah, but I think they weren't the top ranking team because there was like age restriction stuff. So that team got disqualified because of that, and so they had to move up through. So they were kind of out of their depth a wee bit.
Yeah.
But just
it was amazing.
But just the finals, the final itself just
it was so good.
I mean, I'm not even into PvP, and I can barely understand what's going on because it's all happening so fast. And I was sitting there cheering, and my adrenaline was pumping. I was like, oh my god, it was great. Oh my god, it was intense. It was especially because of the fantastic commentary.
Yeah,
the casting was
phenomenal. On those matches was so good. I think I mentioned
Jeb and the StarCraft bloke. I've forgotten his name, but he was great. I've seen less professional BBC sports commentators. If you remember the World Cup last year, and they had bloody Phil Neville commentating, it's like, oh yeah, he's just kicked the football, hasn't he? Yeah, that's great. It's just like, good job, Phil. But no, absolute. And I think Jeb is in chat now watching. So that was some really fantastic commentary.
Super good. It, super conveyed the hype and stuff. It was it just got everyone pumped.
I love when they're commentating and these people are professionals, and even they're I don't know what to say. This is just amazing. They're getting their own minds blown by how high level this play is. It was fun.
But the crazy thing, it was the same 3 plays straight in a row, wasn't it? I mean, the two semis were comebacks, and the first final match was a comeback, which was insane. They were 300 to 450, like you said, and they won it. And I did feel quite sorry for Absurd by that point, because they had to play 3 sessions in a row, so they must have been absolutely knackered by the time they came on.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and then that last game, Orange Logo just steamrolled them. And
it was clear that Abjured had just kind of, you know, okay, they'd kind of almost accepted defeat in that final round. Like,
yeah,
it was just such a match.
The first match was really close, and then the second one was like orange logo.
Just take it.
There's like they steamrolled them.
It was amazing though.
It was great.
Super good.
Yeah, it was. But like USM Peachy, I'm not big on PvP. I didn't even plan to watch it, but
I hadn't either.
Someone piped up in TS, and I was just like, you know, I'll just kind of put it on in the background, and as it kind of went on and on and on, and I just love watching the videos of this is going to sound so harsh because, you know, it's a sport, and they were all very sportsmanlike on the official forums afterwards, saying, you know, good game, wholly deserved. But like they're kind of their pre-game video where they're just like, yeah, we're Abjured and we're the best. We're gonna kick your ass.
Oh
we're
my
world
god,
champions.
I was embarrassed for my country. I was like, really, guys? Really?
We've never lost. We've not lost a game since we were world champions, and then just. Oh, dearie me.
Oh,
but
my
there was
well, they hadn't, right? There was months they'd gone like undefeated, and
I think they said 3
crazy,
months, undefeated for 3 months.
Yeah, which was just amazing to see. Like, it wasn't, you know, I'm not saying, you know, it was cool seeing them get knocked off their kind of throne, but it's always good to see close matches, you know, like,
yeah.
And I think a lot of people didn't expect that because they had gone undefeated for so long, you know. So I don't know, I think it made it that much cooler to watch just because it was so heated and so like
wasn't like, oh, you know that this team's gonna win, and
yeah, exactly.
You know, that was it. It was
honestly what I was expecting. Like, you know, I was really expecting them to just take it, and it was just amazing.
What's really weird is that I think, without saying it, everyone was kind of rooting for Orange Logo because everybody loves an underdog.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's just kind of like, come on, Orange Logo, you can do it, and they beat the Dankening, and then like, yeah, they can do it, and then they did it. It's just like, yay, they did it. But what's really great to see is this year, I think, is the first time that Guild Wars 2 has been taken seriously as an esport, because when they first tried to launch it in late 2012, early 2013, nobody really cared, and they tried to do it, and the reception from the streaming community, from the MGL communities was from the MGL community. It wasn't as excitable as they were hoping it to be. But for some reason this year, and you know, it's really taken off. I think partly it's due to the China launch, because they're quite big on their PvP over there, and everybody seems to be embracing it.
I think what helped a lot was just being at PAX, you know, where a lot of eyes were on them anyway, and I think that will have drawn a lot of people in there. That, I mean, in that whole weekend, right? Like on Twitch anyway, the kind of viewers for Guild Wars 2 have gone up so much, and I think we've had a lot of new players, but we've also had a lot of kind of veteran gaming people come and give it a shot as well. You know, I mean, there was Soda Poppin' and a few other streamers that have just tried it out and given it a shot, and I think that's really boosted what people see Guild Wars 2 as. You know, it's like a game they've heard of, you know, every now and then, but now it's kind of in the spotlight, and I think that's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, at the moment I kind of just dive into PvP to do my rank farm, which inexplicably people manage to get wrong, but you know, whatever. But I think I'm like, just watching that, it kind of ignites your passion. I mean, every time I've seen you online, Corvus, I've seen, he's in Heart of the Mists and Legacy of the Foe Fire and everything. And,
I was so hyped to play PvP after WTS. Like, I jumped like pretty much straight in there and was just like, and you know, lost a few times, won a few times.
Yeah, you got
just so fun. Super good. I mean, PvP is just such a chilled thing to do. Like, you know, you get times where you don't really fancy doing much, and there's maybe, you know, because since I've mentioned this before again, but like, having gotten Frostfang and stuff, I don't have that many goals in the game just now, like, to really go for, and I'm chilling out and kind of looking for something else to work towards. So PvP is like the best alternative for that. You know, it's just jump on, play some matches, get some rewards. I got a couple of Ascended drops as well the past couple of weeks as well, which has been good.
Nice.
Oh, nice, man.
It's just been super cool, yeah. So yeah, I think if you've not tried PvP out, like give it a bash. Just have fun with it. You know, don't get too salty about it. and if people get angry towards you, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's just a game. Tell them it's just a game. That'll make them calm down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, sure.
Very much.
But and if you are new to PvP, honestly, just go on to one of the rank farm matches. It'll just say honestly, just say it'll say rank farm in the title, and you'll be able to familiarize yourself with the maps. Find where the capture points are. Have a bit of a wander around and explore, so you know what you're doing by the time you go in to actual PvP. So go in with a little bit of preparation.
It's a good way to get started in it, yeah. And just don't get intimidated, like a lot of people jump in just to try builds out and stuff like that. Unless you're doing ranked, you're not, you can take it fairly easily, and just chill out with it and just have fun. And there's been a lot of commotion on Twitter trying to get people in the community to start doing like bog otter and wooden potatoes and Aurora and stuff like that.
Jebro's trying to get a team together with me, him, WP, Net Visual, and Richie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We need to start a hashtag for that because I think that would be amazing. That would make an amazing set of videos. Seriously, I'd love
hashtag
CP.
I don't know what I'm doing in PvP though. Like I don't even know where to go or what to do. And I just get killed instantly by anybody I come across. That's why I like Stronghold. That's why I like Stronghold, because I could just be the supply runner. I'm contributing to my team once in a while when I go in the center and I get into a battle with someone. It's it's not that bad because it's occasional. Yeah. So yeah.
My PvP experience kind of goes like this, like. Okay, let's try it out. Let's go, and I'm dead. And it's like, okay.
That's pretty much my experience too. And I'm dead.
Because my vision problems coupled with the fact that I'm not terribly the quickest reaction person in the universe is like when I get on, I'm like, oh, look, okay, there's another player. I'll try to, and I click, and
and
okay, all right. And there's these weird color things and colored doors, and I'm like. Why is the Zerg going that way? And then it's like I try to follow them, and all of a sudden they're gone. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, they're going what? Where? I'm just like, God dang it! I'm just gonna go quest.
Team name Visual Wooden Peachy Otter.
Visual Wooden Peachy Otter. That's good. That's good.
They showed off a trailer of the new World v World map.
I did not see that. Nobody got to play it, right? It was just a preview of it?
It was like 30 seconds long, and it was just a fly-through of the map, really. It was cool. It looks
kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks... It's... I think... I can't remember who said it, but it looked like a blend of, like, Edge of the Mists in terms of, like, the narrow areas and the kind of... more dynamic kind of zone and normal World v World, because I think the World v World Borderlands they're really flat. They're kind of empty. There's a lot of open spaces, and I think this is going to make people think more about where they go.
Oh, all right, we're back. We're up. We're live again.
Sorry, guys.
Morjamoth, why you gotta be doing that?
Why you do these things, man?
Why you always be doing this?
Replacing our wires with vines and getting all in our electrical system.
Oh, Morty.
Chris Whiteside.
Yeah, that was
he's
just today we saw that. He's moving on from ArenaNet.
Yeah.
And he was the lead content designer,
director of design, and prior lead producer.
Yeah, he was quite an important dude. And my server that I play on was named after him and stuff. So I don't know.
Whiteside Ridge.
So I don't know why he's left, but I saw a few tweets, between him and Ruby and I think Teddy as well. And it's just, I don't know, it's sad. It feels sad. And in the past couple months, we've lost a couple other people as well from ArenaNet.
We lost John Ryan to Budgie, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's going over.
Are you serious?
Break your guys' hearts. Hey, he's back.
So before I drop again, unfortunately, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Thank you to everyone who stuck around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Now I'm just frustrated because internet problems are always frustrating. So
let's knock it.
So we're just gonna finish up the show here. Then we'll go post show for as long as my internet will allow.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you everybody for being here, for watching, whether it's live on Twitch or you're watching the video on demand on Twitch or on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and being here. It was a good show.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys.
And we'll hopefully have a lot more juicy things to talk about next week. Camera changes, first person camera.
Fingers crossed,
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Please. Alright guys, we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye guys.
Take care guys, thanks for joining us.